everybody, welcome to Raising Vibrations. This is Simon, and today we're working with Saturn and Jupiter cycle. And to be quite honest, I'm really excited about explaining the nature of the cycle, because a lot of us are at a point in our lives where we're trying to seek the secrets to manifestation. And I feel that there are certain elements towards understanding the secrets of manifestation, as it were, that are very individual. And so what I want to do today is kind of share with you Saturn Uranus, pardon me, not Saturn Uranus, but Saturn Jupiter cycles and how they operate, and how to understand it in your own birth chart, so that you can, well, it's not really that you're going to individuate it in a way where now you know how to do it, but I suppose what I'm trying to say is that to get more clarity on the types of archetypes that you have in your birth charts that will show up going, this is how a soul or your soul wants to authentically manifest in your life. So I hope that makes sense. Probably throughout this video, it will become a little more clearer. Okay, so firstly, let's just work a little bit with the two archetypes themselves. Saturn, or Jupiter, should I say, is an archetype in our consciousness where we become aware of wisdom, okay? Or the nature of direct experience, okay? This is how we understand our truth. So the way that we become aware of all of these truths that we hold within ourselves, these belief systems, these ideas, is through having experiences in our lives that give us a sense of philosophy, a sense of meaning. And as we collect these philosophical understandings and perspectives and such, we then operate from a deep, deep core part of ourselves in alignment with those belief systems, okay? So Sag, or Jupiter in the birth chart, will reflect to you the nature of those belief systems that you have gone through in your lives and that you carry in a very deep and intuitive way, that becomes the location almost of where you exist. It's in some way, shape, or form your home. So there's a deep sort of like core attachment towards Jupiter, reflecting to you what type of beliefs you hold. Okay, and then what we have is Saturn. Okay, so what Saturn does is, or should I say Capricorn as an archetype, it reflects the kind of structure, not kind of, it reflects the structure in which your consciousness is held in, okay? And so the boundaries and definitions and limitations that you as a human being have within inside of yourself that dictate what you are capable of and what you're not capable of, okay? So here's an example to understand this in a deep way regarding my own personal story. So here I am working on many platforms, YouTube being one of them. I also have Jupiter and Sagittarius in the 11th house, okay? So my natural sort of way to discover my truth, to live my philosophy and such, is to show up as a person who shares knowledge and distributes information, Jupiter knowledge, in a way that accelerates or individuates our sense of relationship to higher consciousness, okay? And the individuation process, the acceleration process, would be the 11th house. But it also reflects to me the nature of the groups in which I will associate with. So here I am on YouTube sharing this information, but the majority of people that are watching this video are going to have in some way, shape, or form a very strong indication for searching for truth, whether it be information regarding astrology, whether it be whatever it is to you. But there's a core desire to know more, to expand one's consciousness, right? So I show up as this person. Then I have Saturn in the 10th house, Scorpio. Okay, so the structure, the overall structure in which I base this belief system in is one through finding life's purpose. Okay, so remember, Capricorn in the 10th house is my vocation. So I use this as my career, as my life's vocation, to to express the nature of these truths and to disseminate them into the group dynamic and to be seen in groups as somebody that wishes to hold or has an interest in vast knowledge. Okay. Now, you understand the point that I'm trying to make here. So the structure in which I have those beliefs in is through my career. It is through my life's direction. And because it's in Scorpio, I'm dealing a lot with psychological transmutation. I'm dealing a lot with the nature of the core. And again, as I said, the transmutation, which is why, of course, when you watch these videos and you notice the way that I communicate my stuff, there's a sense of heaviness associated with this, intensity around it. And as much as I might come across as somebody that really is looking at the core of things all the time and really trying to get to the bottom of it from a Saturnian perspective, what also is very apparent within the work is that it's very serious. There's a heaviness to it. So you can see how those two archetypes within my consciousness are playing out the way that I manifest in my life. Okay. So the same thing happens for you. You locate your Jupiter in your chart by house and sign. You locate Saturn in your chart by house and sign. And those archetypes will give you a sense of correlation between how you would naturally, and that's the key word here, naturally manifest these, or manifest your soul's desires. Okay? Of course, there are some extra layers to the story that I feel are important, but if I had to get into, would create a lot of confusion. So what I would want to say is that it's important to always recognize that if Jupiter is making an aspect to another planet, if Jupiter is conjunct another planet, etc., then of course that extra layer of that other archetype would be infused in it. So in my case, I actually have the Sun, Mercury, and Pluto conjunct Saturn. And in my case, I always have Uranus, the South Node, also conjunct Jupiter. And then I have the South Node of Uranus already conjunct Jupiter. So there's a lot of stuff attached to that, the nature of the Jupiter in my chart, that we can add extra layers to. But for now, for you practicing this on yourself and getting in touch with your own personal soul's journey and how you naturally and authentically manifest, just take house and sign, okay? Then the next thing that I would also add to this, and I feel like this is something that you don't really see often in astrology that much, but it's actually quite critical to understand how you go about manifesting that stuff. This is the key here, okay? And that is the phasal relationship between Jupiter and Saturn in your birth chart. Okay, now the Sun, the Moon, the Ascendant, Pluto, all of these archetypal structures do play influential roles in the nature of your manifestation. So I'm not saying that these two isolated are the core, but I am saying that they represent the fundamental aspects of manifestation, because it's the belief system and the structure you use to actually actualize that. Okay, Neptune in itself correlates to the nature of inspiration, but we're still following me. Okay, so the phasal relationship between Jupiter and Saturn in your birth chart is incredibly important to understand. Okay, now the way that you understand this is firstly like this: a phasal relationship is the relationship between two planets and their awareness that has manifested. Okay, the awareness that is manifested in relationship to the two planets. Okay, so we have a new moon and we have a full moon. We have a first quarter moon and we have a last quarter moon. We have balsamic moon. Well, the same concept applies between two planets in your birth chart. So what I'm trying to show you here is not how to figure this out in that sense. I'm trying to show you that manifestation related to Jupiter and Saturn is shown in your birth chart. And the house and sign will give you a good, strong indication of that. And the phasal relationship will reflect to you specifically how you will actually manifest your creative dreams. So somebody that has a new phase conjunction, a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in their chart, but Jupiter's just a little bit ahead now. Say Saturn's at 5 degrees Scorpio and Jupiter's at 9 degrees Scorpio. It will mean that you need to, in some way, shape, or form, expose yourself to a multitude of philosophies, and you will probably have grown up in an environment where that would have been available to you. And your exposure to different types of belief systems would give you a sense of, that seems interesting. I don't really like that. That's okay. I really like that. And you would actually manifest in your life somebody that would be very open to the diversity of different types of belief systems. Whereas somebody that has maybe Jupiter trine Saturn, okay, or Saturn trine Jupiter, this would be a very Leonic expression, and you would be very full of your knowing and belief in your belief system itself. And so your ability to manifest would come with a lot of confidence, with ease. You would also probably be seen by a lot of people as somebody that felt as if you know it all in some way, shape, or form. So can you see that the point that I'm really trying to make here with the aspects and phases? Not necessarily, like I said, that you need to go figure that out, because it's a little bit of a complicated process, but to recognize that the phasal relationship that Saturn and Saturn and Jupiter have will give you and show you with greater clarity how that's going to be operating. So some food for thought regarding Saturn and Jupiter. We go through Saturn and Jupiter cycles every 20 years. And of course, as we go through these cycles, we have new types of philosophies be brought into our lives, new types of ways in which we see perspectives and so on. And it's interesting how that cycle works, because it's kind of like a generational thing where Saturn will go through, Saturn and Jupiter will conjunct each other, and then they will go through the cycles where Jupiter will take 12 years to go around the zodiac, and it will conjunct that. But of course, Saturn's moving at the same time, so it takes that 20-year cycle. But in that 20-year cycle, we will actually go through an entire specific philosophy or belief system as a culture on a consensus level, but also on an individuated level, and also on a spiritual level as well. So new innovations would actually come out from these processes. New types of philosophies and belief systems will start to emerge and such. And whoever's lucky enough at that stage to be in synchronization with those belief systems will find themselves riding the wave of a new innovation or a new invention that literally convinces the culture and society of this way of doing things. So it'll be actually interesting to notice or to look at types of birth charts where, for instance, when YouTube began, and that type of philosophy and beliefs, philosophy and structure that they use to construct what YouTube represents. Political agendas and so on and so forth run the same sort of course and so on. So it's a really fascinating cycle. I highly encourage you to do research on the internet regarding those things, and to also apply it to yourself as well. Okay, so remember, Saturn's house, Jupiter's house, the house and sign, look at those archetypes themselves. If you're interested in actually allowing me to do that work for you, you can always check out my site as well. I've got specific services that will maybe even just talk about that in itself, if you're interested in just wanting to do that. So yeah. Other than that, guys, I think I'm really done here, to be honest. I really hope that you enjoyed this and it provoked a sense of curiosity regarding these two archetypes. Maybe in the future, I will do something regarding the cyclic node between Uranus and Saturn, maybe Sun and Mercury, etc. Sounds interesting. I might do that. Yeah, other than that, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.